Hello and welcome to a special Devil's Advocate with the embattled Chief Minister of Uttarakhand, Vijay Bahuguna. Chief Minister, let's start with today's front page story in the Times of India. The paper says that Uttarakhand has no disaster management worth the name despite being highly disaster prone. Is that correct?
No, that is not correct at all. We have our own team, but the disaster was of such a magnitude and of such a scale which we could never conceive of, and it was never expected, and it never happened in the history of this state or in any other part of the Himalayas, where 37,000 square miles of area is affected by calamity.
Chief Minister, I'll come to the size and scale of the tragedy that you're facing in a moment's time, but let me go further with this particular line of questioning. The CAG released a report on April the 23rd, which is just 2 months ago. And that report says that the Uttarakhand State Disaster Management Authority, though set up in October 2007, over 6 years ago, has never met, not even once. And then the report says it's got no rules, no regulations, no policies, no guidelines. If that's true, it's horrific.
No, you see, the NDRF had visited us. We had a number of conferences with them. In fact, the NDRF, during my regime, has decided to set up a unit at Haridwar, for which we were in discussions. Our officers were getting regular training. Maybe that the board has not met, but our police staff and personnel...
You concede that? Just a moment, Chief Minister. You concede that the State Disaster Management Board, though set up in October 2007, has never met. You concede that?
Yes, that's correct. That's correct. Not at the level of the Chief Minister, as far as I know.
But then that is shameful, because yours is a disaster-prone state. You have them almost regularly, and yet the State Disaster Management Authority has never met.
You see, the authority itself may be relevant or may not be relevant, but the police force and the police personnel, they do undergo such a training, and we have officers and men who are trained for such a catastrophe. But as I told you earlier, the scale and magnitude of this calamity, it is not possible for any board or any authority or any force to have prevented it. Yes, of course.
Just a moment, Chief Minister.
Doing our best. Now we are doing our best
Chief Minister,
to provide relief and rehabilitation.
Chief Minister, you're saying to me that in fact you have trained personnel in the police, but in fact that same CAG report says that basic personnel to handle disaster management are missing. The report says 44% of the posts in district emergency operation cells are vacant. It says you have no master trainers to train staff at district, block and village level. You have no medical personnel trained in emergency hospital preparedness. So the very essentials of trained people is missing.
That to some extent it is right. But as I have told you earlier, that in the last few years, as far as I know, our officers and our Jawans have undergone training. And last year, when we had a flash flood in Uttarkashi and the NDRF team and personnel came here, our officers are getting training. It may be that the board has not actually worked in the way it ought to have been done.
But these are incredible.
But
These are incredible admissions from the Chief Minister. You're accepting the board has never met despite being set up for almost 6 years. You're accepting that it isn't functioning as effectively as it should. And you're also accepting that you may not have enough trained people. These are admissions of great magnitude.
That is an aspect which I would candidly accept. But as I told you, from the last 4 or 5 years, our force has been undergoing this treatment. And the SSP and the DIG and the police force which we have, they have the personnel to face a calamity, but not of such a large magnitude, a catastrophe
It's not just, Chief Minister, the magnitude of the calamity. The CAG report, and the CAG report is a report of tremendous authority and respect. The CAG report...
you see...
Let me finish. Let me finish, Chief Minister. The CAG report goes one step further. It says no actionable programs exist in Uttarakhand for the various types of disasters the state could face. That means that Uttarakhand does not have a disaster management plan to tackle the type of cloudburst, glacier collapse and flooded rivers that you've just experienced.
Yeah, it is true that we do not meet the norms or the standards which the National Disaster Relief officials or the CAG is recommending. But I doubt any state has that capacity or that capability. It is something which we are facing with, and I think it is high time now that we'll have to not only give more focus on this, but give importance also to our own personal, that in case of any eventuality or calamity, they can concentrate and work hard.
You know,
but
Chief Minister,
as I told you earlier,
you say that probably no state meets the required norms of disaster management, and that may be true. But the point is that Uttarakhand, unlike many other states, is uniquely prone to disasters and uniquely prone, in fact, to glacier collapses, to flooded rivers, to periodic cloudbursts. Therefore, in your case, this is a terrible lapse.
That is an aspect which has to be looked into, and certainly now the time has come that we'll have to pull up our socks and to do something in this regard. But now, you see,
can I make one further point? Can I make one further point,
Yes.
Chief Minister? Because the impression that the Times of India article created this morning, and remember, it was a banner front page story, and the impression that you're now endorsing by your honesty this evening is that, in fact, Uttarakhand is only now hastily putting together a disaster management response after the disaster has struck, and you didn't have an adequate plan before the disaster happened, and that shakes people's confidence.
Mr. Thapar, with great respect to you and all those people who are writing articles, no, even the government of India cannot and does not have a force to deal with such a magnitude and with such a problem which we are facing. It is not a disaster, you see. It is not a disaster of a small scale. The entire 38,000 square miles of area is affected. And no human being, no force, even the army, the entire generals are here, they've never seen such a thing in their lives.
Absolutely.
I talked to Lieutenant General Chayat. So you see, now blaming this entire thing on the fact that the board had not met or the police persons are not trained from in an area of 38,000 square miles. My dear good friend, no agency or no authority could have done anything.
That I accept, Chief Minister, that the size of the disaster is
to all those
incredible.
who are showing their love and affection, who are showing their concern to the state, they must understand that of a disaster of such a scale, it is like what happened in a tsunami. It's a Himalayan tsunami.
Chief
and
Minister,
you don't need 100, and a disaster force would consist of 100, 200, 400, 500,000 people. How many people we are going to train? It is one aspect which you are highlighting only to rub Uttarakhand. You're not putting balm on the wounds of people of Uttarakhand. You are trying to say that had this force been there, this disaster would not have taken place. You see a cloudburst over Amarnath, over Kedarnath, which was swept the entire town of Kedarnath and right up to Gaurikund.
Chief Minister, let me interrupt. I'm raising issues.
I'm sorry, Mr. Thapar. I'm sorry, Mr. Thapar. What crisis we are facing, the situation which we are faced with, the type of rehabilitation and rescue work is going on in the state. This trivial issue, I would say, is not relevant or predominant for me to answer at this stage.
Except, Chief Minister, that these are issues.
It is an academic question which we can address after.
All right. Let me bring another issue up.
After we are through this rehabilitation and rescue work.
Let me bring up another. Chief Minister, give me a chance. Let me bring up another issue that has been in the news and that has affected people's judgment because it's concerned them. The Meteorological Office has repeatedly said that, in fact, advance warnings of heavy rain were given some 48 hours in advance.
Mr. Thapar, you have lived in Dehradun. Please, I know what you are asking. You have lived in Dehradun, and we have got weather forecast going to be heavy rains. Did you leave Dehradun when you were 6 years in the academy and there were forecasts of heavy rains? Over 1 lakh of tourists was present in Uttarakhand. And I tell them that vacate Uttarakhand, leave Uttarakhand because heavy rains are predicted. Do you think anybody would adhere to it? It was not area specific. We are not informed whether cloud bursts or whether flash floods are going to take place. These reports do come to us. But then in such a big state where lakhs of tourists come in a particular season, I don't know from where to evacuate. If I say, leave Uttarakhand, rains are coming, will people take it seriously?
Can I make a point? Are you suggesting that, in fact, although the Meteorological Office gave warnings 48 hours in advance of heavy rains, these were not specific and that they were not clear enough? Should they have been more clear?
Yes, that's correct. That's correct. That's correct. How can you say you are going to have heavy rainfall? Every day we read heavy rainfall expected in Himachal, snowfall expected in Himachal. Then what do you wicked people? You say Europe is going to face acute cold winter. Do people stop going to Europe? You see, we have to have a more advanced technology, information, area specific, and nobody in the wildest dreams, even the environmentalists or the ecologists could say that there will be a cloudburst over Kedarnath.
Give me a moment. Give me a moment. You talk about the need for more advanced technology. Experts are now saying quite openly in television studios as well as in the newspapers that you have Doppler radars, and a network of Doppler radars could have been put together for as little as 15 or 20 crore, and had it been done so, you would have got 3 to 4 hours advance notice of cloudburst, which would have permitted emergency evacuation. Why were those not put in place?
We were in continuous correspondence with the central government. The land had been identified. There were certain procedures which had to be followed, certain formalities which had to be completed, and the state government had done it, and we were very close to putting up a Doppler radar. It is unfortunate that this tragedy has struck us.
Are you suggesting that, in fact, bureaucratic procedures and red tape delayed the setting up of Doppler radars? And
No. You see, there are certain concerns of ministries concerned. They are certain the Home Ministry, the Defense Ministry, so many. We have to seek permissions, and we had ourselves.
But how long has this procedure been going on for? How long has this procedure been going on for?
Land has been identified near Mussoorie.
How long has this procedure been going on for? I get the impression from you that it's been going on for several months, if not years.
No. It was in the pipeline, and I was pursuing it. In fact, we had a meeting also with the minister concerned, and we had finalized the land, everything. It was just bad luck or misfortune that before the radars could be put up, this deluge has taken place in Uttarakhand.
All right, let's then come, Chief Minister, to a concern that will have occurred to the audience. The audience will say, listening to you, that in fact cloudbursts are not uncommon in Uttarakhand. They happen fairly often, and frequently they lead to flash floods. Surely these Doppler radars, the land where they should have been installed, the bureaucratic procedure for clearing them should have been done not 6 months ago, but 4, 5, 6, 7 years ago. In fact, it should have happened almost when you set up the State Disaster Management Authority. Do you believe your predecessors, and I'm not blaming you by any means personally, but do you believe Uttarakhand governments are responsible for delay and dragging their feet?
That is a way of looking at it, but yes, it could have been installed much earlier. So many things could have been done earlier in time. But as I'm talking to you today, you see, my entire attention and focus is on rescue and rehabilitation of a magnitude which the Indian Army officials say they have not seen in their lifetime. We are faced with a very stupendous work of saving lives, of providing rehabilitation.
Let's then come, Chief Minister, to that rehabilitation. Let's come to that. I want to ask you about the size and...
I'll sit with you and do a post-mortem of what could have been, what could not have been done. But today, I would appreciate if the media is more concerned about the rescue and the rehabilitation work they have to do.
Chief Minister,
enormous task which is cut off.
Let's come, in fact, to the enormous task you face. The size and scale of this tragedy is awesome. Your Principal Secretary, Rakesh Sharma, has gone on record to say that the death count could be shockingly huge. Are we talking about hundreds? Are we talking about thousands? God forbid, are we talking about tens of thousands?
You see, there is no speculation in this. In our bulletin, which has been issued right about 2 hours before, we have said that 556 bodies have been noticed. You see, bodies have flown in the river. They are buried deep in the slush, and the army is trying to reach to the areas with the walk between Gaurikund to Kedarnath, the 80-mile stretch. Rambagh, all is finished. So far, Kedarnath is coming. You have seen the visuals.
This does sound, Chief Minister,
so much
as
of
if
slush
we'll end
and
up with casualties
we do not know how many bodies are buried. Unless and until I get the complete feedback from the military, from the ITBP, from my revenue officers, from those who have lost their dear ones, then only we'll be able to arrive at a figure. But yes, I told the Prime Minister that the casualty may be in hundreds.
Is it possible that it could go up into thousands? Because after all, because so many bodies have got...
It may be, it may not be. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. But yes, the disaster and the calamity has taken many precious lives.
One other quick question on that. Because so many of the bodies have got washed down flooded rivers, because so many may be buried under silt and under rocks, will we ever know the accurate final death count? Or will it always be an estimate?
We will know because the travel agents, the tourists, the families who have lost the dear ones, the relatives, they are coming forward and asking about their whereabouts. So ultimately, when people will not reach home, naturally their dear ones will make queries, and we'll be able to then identify and come to a figure. But many people have lost their lives. It is very tragic, very, very pathetic.
Chief
and
Minister,
my heart goes out to them.
What
and
about
the entire people of my state or the country are grief-stricken at this hour.
Chief Minister, what about the thousands that are stranded in the higher reaches of Uttarakhand? The Hindustan Times estimates that more than 50,000 people are still awaiting rescue. What is your figure?
That is rubbish. Rubbish. That is, I don't know why the media is trying to blow things out of proportion.
So what is the accurate figure?
Today I can say that about 30,000 people have been evacuated, and they have left Uttarakhand. Yes, there are people who are there stranded, but at safe havens. They are in Badrinath. There is no threat to life. They are in Joshimath. There is no threat to life. They are in Gaurikund. No threat to life. Now these places, some are in Dharchula. These people who are now in about 15,000-20,000 people, they are safe. But the difficulty is I cannot move them out because of the road connectivity has been, the roads have been washed out.
How long will it take to bring them all out?
The bridges have been washed out. So I have to pull them out only through alternate routes by making new roads or by bringing them through choppers.
How long will that take, Chief Minister?
The weather is very cloudy.
Chief Minister, how long will that take?
Evacuation is in progress. Every day we are removing 1,000, 1,500 people, airlifting them. Some roads have opened. The Uttarkashi road has opened. The Ghansali road is open. I can send you the entire
Chief
details.
Minister.
People are moving out also by road. I think it will take me another 15 days to complete the evacuation of all tourists. But then my task will start of rebuilding.
Let me just stop you there for a moment. Let me stop you there. You're saying it will take 15 days to evacuate all the tourists who are stranded in the upper reaches, and yet the meteorological department is saying that you will have rainfall again starting on the 24th, and some estimates are that once again it could be heavy rainfall. Will you find that your problem gets worse when the rains begin on Monday?
I'm keeping my fingers crossed. The army is here, the ITBP is here, the NDRF team is here, my officials are here, and now at least we have identified the people where they are staying. We know their numbers. We are giving them food. We are trying to provide medicine to them.
My question
some are
is,
in the high ridges.
How will the
some are in the high ridges.
But Chief Minister,
some
my
are
question
in the high
is,
ridges where choppers have not been able to go.
Will the return of rain on Monday, because that's what's predicted, and it's predicted it will be heavy rain as well, will that set you back?
It will, you see, you know, we don't have continuous rains in hills. The rain comes and then the clouds are clear.
Yes, but when you have heavy rain again, will that set you back?
Whenever the weather is clear, we will definitely move forward. And we have the people who are safe. There's no threat. Only it's an inconvenience to them that they are stranded. But we are providing all facilities, and we are free. And I'm sure that the army and the ITBP and the paramilitary forces will be able to bring them to a place from where I can give them transport by land.
My last question, Chief Minister. It's not just tourists. It's not just pilgrims who've suffered huge losses. Your own state has suffered a major tragedy.
I am saying
so. You've lost roads, you've lost houses. Most importantly, people have lost their livelihood. How long will it take you to rebuild Uttarakhand?
Mr. Thapar, there are so many remote villages of which we have no information. And there's the hilly terrain, people have not been able to reach there. My telephone lines are off. There's no electricity because a number of poles have been damaged. There's a drinking water problem. How do I take supplies of food to these remote villages? How do I take kerosene, gas?
Right.
There are so many problems which we will face.
That's why I asked.
And my own people are also suffering. Whether it is my people or any other, it's all Indians who are suffering. and the state government, the center has given
Chief
me,
Minister.
the center has given me assistance of 1,000 crores.
Chief Minister.
The Home Minister is coming tomorrow.
Chief
Yes.
Minister, let me put this to you. It's my last question. You have a major, monumental, perhaps a challenge of a magnitude that no Chief Minister has faced in recent times. How long will it take you to put Uttarakhand back on its feet, to build the roads, to build the bridges, to build the buildings, and to rebuild people's lives?
It will take months and months and months. And so far the shrine of Kedarnath is concerned, I don't think we'll be able to open it to pilgrims for at least 1.5 to 2 years.
All right, Chief Minister, on behalf of everyone, we wish you the best of luck. You have a Herculean task, and all of us pray that the rains hold out on Monday and that you're able to put your best effort into saving lives.
And the suggestions and the points which you have highlighted have been taken home, and I'll act on it.
I'm grateful for that, Chief Minister. Thank you very much for making time and speaking to Devil's Advocate. That was the Chief Minister of Uttarakhand in an exclusive interview to Devil's Advocate, being extremely honest about the state of disaster management in Uttarakhand. Goodbye. Good night.